Oh, we have such a colorful Nyberg for you today. I want to introduce from Yale University a junior, Olivia Pavco Giaccia. Is that pretty close?
Yep, you got it.
Okay. We're here to talk about trying to get young gals to love science. You started Lab Candy. Where did that come from?
Well, Lab Candy was initially conceptualized I guess it was summer after my junior year of high school.
In Washington, D.C., in that area?
I was actually
in California then?
In California
You've
then.
been all over the place, okay.
Working at a neurobiology lab in Stanford and blogging about my experiences. The blog was targeted towards getting young girls interested in science, and it was called Lab Candy, a girl's guide to some seriously sweet science.
Where did you get that idea?
I don't know, I was thinking of something that was kind of fun and creative and would kind of get girls to click on the link, and so Lab Candy sprung up out of that.
When you were in the lab in California, in neurobiology, were there many gals your age in there, or was it all men?
I was the only female intern, yeah. So I had this blog targeted towards getting young girls interested in science, and I posted a picture of some bedazzled lab goggles.
Which you have right there. You can pull those off of there.
Just as a little thumbnail photo to get girls to click on the link. And it was crazy. I was flooded with comments from little girls all over the country asking me, where did you get these goggles? Where can I buy them?
Well, they are pretty cute. Look at this. I mean, we must say, right? If you're going to do science, you have a fashion-forward statement here. So the blog blew up because of these.
The picture blew up. It was something about these goggles that really resonated with girls. And I didn't really get what it was at first, but I decided, why not? I'll keep making them. I'll take them around and talk to people. I spoke with hundreds of girls, parents, grandparents, teachers, scientists.
Trying to get young girls to embrace the science.
Trying to figure out what it was about these goggles that just really spoke to girls. And what I kind of figured out was, it wasn't just about the sparkles, right? It was the fact that these goggles represented the antithesis of the kind of typical scientist stereotype. So, okay.
And I'm married to a scientist right away. So I understand what you're saying. Not just the nerdy guy, which Mark is not just nerdy, he's a well-rounded guy. But you're trying to get people to step out of their boundaries and to embrace this. So fast forward, you're talking about it. You decide to go into neurobiology because you told me you want to study the mind, you want to study. Put it in your words. Why is it that you want to study the mind?
So when I think about what I want to do with my life, I really want to study the most complex, intriguing problem that I could come up with. And for me, that was the human mind.
And what I said to you is we know this much about the mind.
It's true.
You're learning about this, though, and a business model. Fast forward, you end up coming to Yale University. You get involved with YEI, Yale Entrepreneurial Institute. You go to them, and what happens with your Lab Candy?
They were amazing. I got accepted to their summer fellowship program after my freshman year, and they encouraged me to kind of keep doing what I've been doing, which was talk to people, you know, think about your product. And it kind of grew from just a pair of goggles into a whole kind of kit product, the purpose of which is really to create a character which girls can relate to. So it's goggles, lab coat, and a storybook.
These lab coats, we should point out you're making them in America, and all of this is available on a Kickstarter, which you got going in August of this year. The Kickstarter is going to do what for Lab Candy?
Well, so far
it's crowdsourcing, we should say, crowdfunding.
So for those who aren't familiar with Kickstarter, it's a place where people can go online, and if they like a project or an idea, they can donate, they can back the project for a little bit amount of money, like $5, $10. And if enough people do that, then hopefully the project will meet its funding goal and kind of get off the ground. So our goal is to get enough money to pay for our first round of manufacturing. Because everything that we've made so far, we've made by hand. And it's been a great way to get to know the market, but clearly it's not scalable.
Where is this going to go, do you think? I asked you that before we started taping. You have to be prepared, I think, when you're an entrepreneur for a road to go this way. You didn't think it was going to go this way, or it might go this way. How are you preparing that this might take off to something else and may keep you from studying the mind for a little bit and becoming this huge icon on top of a corporation?
Well, you know, speaking of going different directions, I think the biggest surprise for me was the storybook, and that's where I see the biggest potential for growth for us.
Tell me about the storybook. It goes with this whole package.
It goes with all this. So the storybook features a character named Ava. It's called Ava and the Copper Key, and she goes on an adventure where she has a key, which through a series of unfortunate events, she kind of loses it in a pile of other keys, and she uses a science experiment in order to figure out which key is hers. I don't want to give away too much information,
okay.
But the idea is it's a storybook and a workbook in one. So girls can try out some of Ava's favorite science experiments, chemistry experiments, because that's her favorite type of science.
And that scares me because I don't have that kind of mind. Chemistry and I do not get along.
It's for young girls. It's for girls who are kind of kindergarten through third grade.
Okay.
So it's not super complicated.
Is it a coloring book, or could it be?
It's not a coloring book
Not
right
yet.
now. It's certainly a lot of fun, colorful pictures are included in it. But as of right now, it's really just, it's interactive. It's a workbook, so girls can write down their hypothesis, their prediction for what might happen in the experiments. There are extra experiments included in the back. But yeah, it's kind of a fun story.
There's a surprise with this that you can tell me about tonight?
Yes, an exclusive. So I'm very excited because we put our project up on Kickstarter, kind of crossed our fingers, and incredibly we met our goal in 3 days, which was really exciting for us. So now we have thought about, what's kind of the next step. We still have 20 days left on Kickstarter, and we can still...
What was the goal? How much money?
$20,000.
In 3 days, 20,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's resonating. So now what are you going to do with all these days?
So now we decided that we are going to kind of up our game a little bit and release a stretch goal, one of which is kind of creating an exclusive first edition hardcover version of the book with extra illustrations included for all our backers.
I think this is just the beginning for you. If you're making $20,000 in 3 days, I think teachers all over this state of Connecticut and beyond, of course, would love to have somebody like you who is studying the mind, who put together some rhinestone goggles, who also plays the cello, we might add. You're not playing tonight because you said, I have so much to talk about, I can't play, which you play beautifully.
Thank you.
You have so much going on, and I'm thinking you're going to take another road here. for a while and get going, because you represent, you're walking the walk. You're in neurobiology. You know what it's like to be in a lab with few women, and you're trying to get girls to embrace science and be a part of it. So I applaud you for this. What are your folks saying about this?
Well, neither of my parents are scientists. And they were a little bit confused when I first expressed interest.
What do they do?
They are both lawyers.
Uh-huh.
So actually, of course, they're both wonderfully supportive. But for me, my kind of big female mentor in science was a teacher. You mentioned teachers. I mean, it's incredible how one great teacher can completely change your life.
What age?
So I got lucky. I actually had two great teachers. One in 6th grade, Mary Cahill. She was an amazing biology teacher, and she kind of helped me get over that initial fear of, science. I don't see a lot of other girls who love science class. What is this? She kind of helped me get through that. And then, again, in high school, I had an incredible advisor who was also a science teacher, Denise Wrights, and she was so influential in my life, I actually wrote her into the storybook. Ava's science teacher is Mrs. Wrights, and yeah, Mrs. Wrights helps Ava save the day, just as she did with me many times. So.
And the fact that a teacher empowered you is a wonderful message. I want to thank you for doing this, because somebody like me who did not embrace the sciences because I didn't see a lot of folks doing that, you know, I write stories. So we're writing about you, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 years brings. You're a junior at Yale University, so you have another year and then beyond. So labcandy.com, everybody remember that. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.